Hey, welcome everyone. Illinois wins 73-44 over the Syracuse Orangemen, and today it was pretty much the Coleman Hawkins show.
Yeah.
I mean, triple-double, only the fourth one in program history, 15 points, 10 rebounds. It was pretty impressive to see.
Yeah, and for the most part, we were kind of talking about earlier, it was quiet from him for the majority of it. It was 6 points in the first half, 6 assists, but I think we got to finally see the side of him that was the facilitator that Brad always talks about.
Yeah, last year they talked about having point Coleman, Coleman playing at the one, and he showed. I mean, he facilitated great. The one thing that I like seeing from the stat line, he was 7-11 from the, shooting from the field. He only took 2 3-pointers. Usually before the season, one of my criticisms with Coleman was that he was not using the bully pulpit in the paint. Today, he went inside and scored efficiently.
Yeah, and they kind of set him up on the free throw line, in the middle of that zone defense. So the floater was on for him. That was really working, and I think he found different ways to score today that he's not used to doing, which I think is going to help him out in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. But overall for the team, shooting woes, it's a serious concern. Illinois only shot 28% from the 3-point line, 36% overall. I guess the good thing is that Syracuse was worse.
Yeah. I mean, when 2 of your most active shooters, Skye and Terrence Shannon, combined for 5 for 25 from the field, with Skye going 0 for 10, I mean, that's never a good sign, but like you said, they were just better.
Yeah. So who do you trust more? It's Illinois is about to go into Big Ten play. Who do you want getting the most minutes at point guard? Do you want the Jaden Epps that's a better scorer, or do you want Skye Clark who's the better facilitator?
I mean, at this point, if we're seeing Coleman play like this as a great facilitator, I'd almost choose Epps because I can trust Epps to hit a shot, and he's shown that in every single game. Skye has had a pretty cold start to his collegiate career.
And that's the problem, Dane's dangerous, starting to slow down. Matt Meyer has not shown the capability of being consistent. You kind of need a Jay Epps to score a bucket because, he is probably the most consistent shooter, probably highest ceiling besides RJ.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that keeps up for Illinois. But overall, the Big Ten's looking pretty strong. Before the season, people had concerns whether the Big Ten would have a down year. But Purdue, Zach Edey's still pretty good at basketball. And they reloaded with some pretty good 3-point shooters. Indiana has one of the best players in the country. Michigan State, smaller rotation, but Tom Izzo is rejuvenated. I mean, for the year, me and Josh Peach, one of my radio co-hosts, we thought Illinois could start 15-0 in conference play. I think that looks pretty ridiculous now. I don't think they're consistent enough shooting to really run away with the conference.
Yeah, and like you said, Zach Edey's pretty good at basketball.
Yeah,
if you're playing Purdue or Indiana in that 15-game stretch, I don't see right now how they can pull out a win really if you're not going to have consistency out of Dane and consistency out of Skye.
So what's it going to take? Just the defense creates opportunities for the offense?
I mean, that's kind of how they pulled out their biggest win of the season so far. I mean, you saw Sincere Harris come on, and he changed the entire game despite having, 2 or 4 points in that game over UCLA. But it was that flipped the switch for them. So I just don't think that that's a consistent way of beating top teams.
No, probably not. They have to get more consistent from the 3-point line. Terrence Shannon today made a couple 3-pointers, but we haven't seen the same aggressiveness or same efficiency, in the paint. But overall, this Illinois team, they're 6-1, about to take on the Maryland Terrapins this Friday. How have you kind of viewed the non-conference play so far? Are your expectations raised or lowered after the first 7 games?
I think this is more so what I expected, actually. Because I was talking with my friends before the season, I'm like, I don't think you guys understand how good they actually are going to be and how high that ceiling is, but I think I anticipated Skye not finding his feet right away, but
he's struggling to score.
Yeah,
it's a serious concern with Skye Clark.
It really is, and I wrote it off as just kind of just being a freshman, but I mean these are we're facing Lindenwood and Syracuse, you've got Maryland this week, you got to start turning it up.
Yeah. Definitely, Kevin Willard's program's definitely, Maryland is better than people thought. That's going to be a tough game. Before the year, you see Maryland lost a lot of starters. You thought Illinois would walk away with that game. I'm not so sure anymore. You know what I mean? What if Jaden Epps is cold? What if Coleman goes 0 for 5 from 3-point? they can lose that game.
Very easily, I think.
Yeah. But you know what? Enough of the negative stuff. Illinois wins 73-44. This is going to do it for the Daily Illini podcast. Thanks for watching.